Do you think one mind is better than many? Neither do we. A University of Chicago Booth School of Business MBA is for curious and collaborative people who value different perspectives and ideas. Chicago Booth takes pride in empowering and being empowered by women of diverse backgrounds. We believe that fostering an inclusive community creates an environment of analytical, open minded inquiry and produces knowledge with enduring impact. Learn more today at chicagobooth.edu/elevate. Welcome to the Ellevate podcast, conversations with women changing the face of business. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Ellevate podcast. I'm Megan Oliver from Ellevate Network, here to give you the lowdown on what is going on at Ellevate this week. So, first up, we have our roundtables. We have our Ellevate roundtable for everybody. Come on by. It's this Thursday. It's all about reassessing your career at any stage. So if you are at a place where, you feel like it might be time to start taking a look at what's going on, come on by. Our executive roundtable is meeting next Tuesday about This is a Woman's World. This is one of our amazing events that's sponsored by Harvard Business School Executive Education. Going to be a fabulous event, especially if you are a woman who works in a male-dominated industry or just workplace. Definitely one you're going to want to go to. Again, that's next Tuesday. And our entrepreneur roundtable is hosting next Thursday, all about the art of delegation, when to hire, outsource, or automate, which I think is such a fascinating topic, and I'm really excited for. We do have our Asian and Pacific Islander Community Circle coming up on Thursday. That's going to be fabulous. Come on by. If you're a member of the community, just definitely join. It's an amazing group. And then the in-person events we have coming up, Los Angeles is hosting their in-person happy hour in Venice on Thursday. I would assume that's Venice Beach, Los Angeles, and not, Venice, Italy. But, never know. Maybe they're going international. New York City is hosting their workshop, Overcoming the 3 Ps of Perfectionism, People-Pleasing, and Procrastination. I love this topic so much. The New York chapter, since I left New York, has been putting out some of the best events, and I'm so jealous because I wish I could still go to them. I'll still go to their virtual events, but these in-person events are so cool. So definitely be sure to go to that if you're in the New York area. Pittsburgh is hosting a Pittsburgh walk working event, network and hike in North Park. That's going to be on Saturday. That sounds so much fun. I'm not usually a big hiker, but I love the idea of networking and hiking. I feel like 2 birds, 1 stone best. And then Dubai is hosting their October Rise and Shine networking event next Tuesday. Now we're going to get into our interview for this week. I'm so excited. This is another one of my interviews, and you want to talk about somebody who I just hit it off with. This week, I'm talking to Cynthia Plotch. She's the co-founder and co-CEO of Stix, the vaginal and reproductive health brand that empowers confident health decisions. Let's just get straight into it because I love this interview so much. I swear to you, I could have talked to her for 3 hours. I didn't, as you can probably tell by the length of this podcast, but I could have. So let's go ahead and get to that now. I want to give a warm welcome to today's guest, Cynthia Plotch.
Thanks so much for having me, Megan. I'm excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you here. We're going to talk about a lot of my personal passions today, which makes me happy. But I want to start out by asking, the big question, which is, how did you get to where you are in your career today?
Totally. Well, today will probably be your personal passions, but honestly, also the things that frustrate you so much, they make you want to pull your hair out. So just a warning. I got where I am today. Oh my God, what a question. So I'll tell you my story a little bit, but honestly, the real answer is luck and privilege. And a combination of those two are probably what took me to where I am today. So I graduated college and knew I was really passionate about this idea of creating social enterprise and social entrepreneurship, the ability to do well and do good, and decided to join this entrepreneurial fellowship right out of college. And through that, I went up to Providence, Rhode Island for the summer before starting my full-time job in the fall. And while in Providence, I met at the time a friend and now my business partner, Jamie. A year later, Jamie got a new job at a produce, social impact, social enterprise produce company down in Baltimore. And I told her that was my dream. The company was so cool. The work they were doing was really important. they were blowing up. They'd just been on Shark Tank. That's where I wanted to work. A week and a half later, I was driving to Vermont with my family, and I stepped out of the car to get an ice cream cone. I came back in, and I had like 10 missed calls from Jamie. We're hiring in Philadelphia. We're hiring in Philadelphia. You have to apply. It was like on 3 of the voicemails. So we ended up working at this other company called Hungry Harvest for about 4 years, and we were employees number 4 and 5 there. And I always say that through that experience, I became passionate about 2 things: creating better experiences for a female consumer and working with Jamie. And so we started to daydream on the side about what would it look like if we were to start something on our own. We definitely had that entrepreneurial itch. And then I was buying a pregnancy test in my neighborhood drugstore, and I ran into my boyfriend's mom, which is as bad as it sounds. Dear listener, I hope you chuckle at that. And I called Jamie in tears, and really quickly we realized, okay, this is it. This is what we were meant to be doing. And fast forward today, we now run Stix, which is the place that women go to take control of their health, focus on products and education for vaginal and reproductive health.
Can I just say the horror
I
of
know.
running into your boyfriend's mother while looking for break? Like, no, thank you.
I know. Thankfully, I wasn't pregnant. We're still together. We're getting married next summer. It's got a happy ending.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But yes, awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
Yeah, I can only imagine. So I do want to talk about Stix.
Yes.
You want to talk about a time to be working for a vaginal and reproductive health brand. This is quite a time. So how do you kind of navigate that?
Well, it has been quite a time. We started in 2018, so within our first year of business, we were hit with the biggest, hopefully, global pandemic of many generations. What a time to run a healthcare company. And then, obviously, 2022, the biggest women's health crisis we've seen in half a century with the fall of Roe v. Wade. So it's been quite a time to run Stix, kind of this whole experience. But I think, I'm sure you're specifically referring to the Roe decision. And I think that made us more firmly stand in the work that we were doing. We actually had never talked about abortion, despite the fact that we really focus on educating our community. That's the center of our mission and the center of our brand. We hadn't even ever used the word abortion before. And all of a sudden, we're like, okay, this is our moment. We got to really do something here. So we launched Restart, our morning after pill, to create some sort of option that all women can still have access to in this country. We focus on educating about the differences between the morning after pill and the abortion pill, because we found that 50% of women got the two confused and then thus thought that the morning after pill was inaccessible to them for all sorts of reasons. And we doubled down on the social impact work that we were doing too. So morning after pill is obviously cost prohibitive for some people. And so we raised almost $500,000 to be able to distribute tens of thousands of doses for free.
I love that. And then I also remember seeing something about you're giving away a box of condoms for free to anyone with an EDU address.
Oh yeah, we are.
Yes, which I love. Since as a former college student, they need it. They need it. Like, please.
Totally. Yeah, we definitely do a lot of work around college campuses. So one of my favorite things that we've done was called the Still Legal campaign. Again, focused on this idea of just helping women understand that the morning after pill is still legal. It was quite simple from a creative standpoint. We took out billboards near universities in Louisiana and Florida, places with restricted access to abortion, that just said, the morning after pill is still legal. We sent everyone to a page called itsstilllegal.org. And that was it. We would hand out stickers with the same messaging. So definitely have really taken a college student focus.
Absolutely. And I think that's so important to note is I think there's absolutely a stigma around sexual and reproductive health in this country. And I think these awareness campaigns are exactly what you need. Like you say, 50% of women, don't know the difference between abortion and the morning after pill and don't realize they're able to still access that, even if their access to abortion has been cut off.
Yeah. And it's not our fault as women.
Yeah.
2/3 of states don't mandate medically accurate sex education. Like, we are set up to fail. What are our options? We go to WebMD, we think we have cervical cancer. We go to Goop and we think we need a vaginal steaming. Those are not reasonable health outcomes. And we're just never set up to understand our bodies. honestly, that's what we're so focused on here at Stix.
Absolutely. And as somebody who, luckily, my parents came through in, updating me on what I needed to know, but I grew up in the state of Texas. And let me tell you something, the sex ed that I received was not adequate.
Yeah, I'm sure. Did you, if you don't mind me asking, did you have abstinence only sex ed?
Yes. So basically, it was one of those things where they were trying to acknowledge, we know that you're going to have sex, but it's just better if you just don't.
Right.
Yeah, that was essentially what we got. And shock of all shocks, we had a lot of teen pregnancies.
Yeah, of course. I mean, abstinence only sex ed does not work. I was talking to my mom about this experience that I had in my early 20s last night. And I actually wrote about it on Real Talk, which is Stix's sex ed platform. That when I was in college, I woke up in the middle of the night peeing blood and I went to the ER and I spent 12 hours in the hospital. And it turns out I just had a UTI that had gone out of hand. But because nobody told me anything like pee after sex or if it burns when you pee, go to the doctor, it had gotten so out of hand. It totally traveled through my system and really wreaked havoc on my body. And I grew up in New Jersey. My mom worked for Planned Parenthood early in her career. A liberal town. I had every advantage that one is supposed to have when it comes to sex ed, and still the system failed me.
Absolutely. And I would like to say that even though, like, thank you, Mom, for all that you did give me, I was never taught pee after sex until I was taught that by friends. So this is my shout out. If anybody is listening, please take care of yourselves.
Yes, pee after sex, take a probiotic, wipe front to back, all those good things.
Yes. And don't let the stigmas of the country make you afraid to look up things about your own health.
We just wrote an article that I'm kind of obsessed with right now that honestly everybody should read, on Real Talk. And it is inspired, of course, by the Barbie movie, What Else Is This Summer About? And the title is just Everything We Want Barbie to Know About Her New Vagina. I hope you've seen it. If not, that's
Yes.
really a spoiler. Okay, thank goodness. And it's exactly that. It's okay, you're new to understanding your vagina and your reproductive health. Here's what you should know. So anyway, that's one of my favorite primers out there.
Yeah, no, absolutely, 100%. And I think that's one thing I love about the Barbie movie is because I know, so the founder was in it, Ruth Handler. If you have not seen the Barbie movie, spoilers ahead, but please see the Barbie movie. And, but she's in it and she talks very briefly about, a double mastectomy. And she's talked in the past about how she felt such shame about breast cancer and about, getting help for her body. And I think that was intentionally one of the things that they wanted to bring forward is to, like, please go to your doctor, please make sure that your body is taken care of. Do not let the stigmas that even we know that our company has kind of helped build up some of these ideas of the perfect woman's body, and that we're now trying to unravel those, which I think they're really working hard to do it, and I really appreciate it. But I appreciated a lot about that. I loved that movie.
I know we could do a whole episode, honestly, of diving deep on the Barbie movie, just from a vaginal health standpoint, let alone all the other great women's rights and feminism that are woven into it. It was amazing.
Yes, agreed. 10 out of 10. It took me a few weeks to see it just because for some reason, I just didn't have time. But I was like, when I finally saw it, I was like, this 10 out of 10. I loved it.
I, embarrassingly, wasn't really a Barbie kid at all growing up. I was the creator of Weird Barbie. I would cut their hair, rip their heads off, and I never played with them beyond that. And so I was worried going into it that I wasn't going to connect with it in that same way. But oh my God, I was wrong. It is the movie for every human.
It is. It's true, because that's the thing. It's about being a human being and how complicated that is.
It's really interesting. I had a conversation with a friend of mine who falls at a very different political spectrum than I do. And she was saying that she had heard from her community that a lot of people disliked the Barbie movie because they felt it was overly, quote unquote, feminist. She hadn't seen it yet. And I was explaining to her that it's not about creating again, some Barbie spoilers coming up, everybody. If you're listening, pause here, go see the movie, then pick us back up. But it's not about one gender over the other or one society is better than the other, although Barbie Land did seem pretty dang awesome. But it's about how the society that we do have today is not an equitable society, and helping to highlight that and the benefits of if it was. So I think that's a really common misconception that happens around that movie, and it was a fascinating conversation for me.
Yeah. And I think, again, spoilers for the Barbie movie. The whole point of this, that's going to be the title of this episode, spoilers for the Barbie movie. No, it's not, uh but
Should be, honestly. Let's keep it going.
yeah, spoilers for the Barbie movie ahead. But like that's the whole point of the Ken's thing, is that they're like, hey, this is not equal. This is not, we shouldn't, it shouldn't be. Barbie Land is a mirror of our world, and the inequities that are in our world show up in Barbie Land, and that's the whole point of it. Is it's not saying one is good and one is bad. It's saying this is what is reflected in Barbie Land, and this isn't what we should have in the world.
Right, right. One of my favorite moments, and the moments that I keep reminding people of in that movie, is in one of the very first scenes when all the Barbies are winning Nobel Prizes and getting elected president and all those sorts of things. They never start off their acceptance speech by thanking everybody. They start off their acceptance speeches by saying, I deserve this. You are correct to give this to me. And I think that that's a moment that honestly isn't getting talked about enough and was so powerful. Anytime I'm having a conversation with a woman, I spend a lot of my days talking to other female founders. They say, oh, my company did this, but discounted for some reason. Or I'm not that great because of X, Y, and Z. And no, dang, Barbie, stand in it, own it.
Yeah, yeah, and for me it was my friend thought it was cheesy, but I don't care because I loved it. The lawyer Barbie that said, I can be both emotional and powerful, and those two things do not cancel each other out. I loved that.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%.
Well, moving sadly away from the Barbie movie, though I could again have a 3-hour podcast on how much I love the Barbie movie. I want to get back to kind of combating stigma. Do you ever face, kind of when you're doing things about billboards, about safe sex, about reproductive rights, do you ever face, backlash, and how do you deal with that as a company?
Absolutely, we do. When we announced to our investor community what we were going to do in response to Roe v. Wade, this was before the decision had even been leaked. But we had been, like everybody else, watching the Dobbs trial move through the court system and understanding what was really going to be coming down. So we had been preparing for many, many months our response. I had one of our early investors send me an email saying, I don't think politics has a place in the boardroom. I don't agree with these decisions that you're making, and I want my money out. I mean, that was such an awful moment for me, because not only was it somebody who was supposed to be supporting me, but this is somebody at the end of the day who I'm making money for, somebody who so doesn't believe in this idea of access to healthcare that they want to pull a freaking great investment out of the market. It's crazy. But we definitely get a ton of backlash and a ton of hate. And those voices are loud, but the positive voices are so much more plentiful. And so we really ground ourselves in that. Now, around the Dobbs decision, we took a lot of efforts to make sure that our team and our people were physically and psychologically safe. We told everyone that they could take Stix off their LinkedIn, that they could set everything to private, whatever anybody needed to do to keep themselves safe. For a while, I was so nervous that any unknown package that came to our office, I would open outside because I was worried about what might be in it. Luckily, we really never had anything incredibly dangerous happen to us. And we just grounded ourselves in the positive support that we were getting from hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of women.
I love that, and I cannot imagine. I remember I went to just to get birth control, not that there's anything wrong if I had been going to a Planned Parenthood for any reason, but I was going to a Planned Parenthood in New York just to get birth control. I had to walk through two like buzz me in security doors, a metal detector, and hand them my phone to scan to make sure it wasn't like, you know, something that could harm anyone.
Uh,
And I was like, this is just to get basic health care in this country, in New York.
Yeah. And even now, millions of women can't do that. They can't get
Yeah.
access to basic health care.
Yeah. It's horrifying. And I think about that a lot.
Yeah.
And just how did you navigate that with your team, that fear, but also moving forward?
In that moment, I think it was probably will be one of the pivotal, most important moments of my career and probably my life, right? It was a moment of crisis in this country, and we were ready to actually do something and make a difference and show up for women. And we did that. I mean, we distributed tens of thousands of doses of the morning aftermath to people who couldn't afford it. We did a lot of work. And so yeah, we were scared and we were overwhelmed, we were exhausted. I mean, we were working more than sun up to sundown during that time, but at least we could do something. You know, it felt like the world around us was falling apart, but at least we were taking action.
Definitely. Yeah. And we are planning to air this in September. September is actually Sexual Health Month, in case anybody at home does not know. Is there anything that you want, people to know at home that they might just not know?
Yes, there's actually a million things, and that is why we built Real Talk, which is our sex ed platform. Like we started off this podcast talking about, Megan, we're never taught to understand our bodies or our sexual health or our reproductive health. And honestly, doctors aren't either. Most med schools don't have women's health classes. Nobody is really taught how to listen to us as women. And so it's on us to understand our bodies and advocate for ourselves. And so do that, inform yourself, become the best advocate you can for yourself. Read Real Talk to help you do that. That's what I want people to know.
Yes, and there were also all those, horrible studies people were doing where a lot of the studies and medical research we have has been mostly done on men. So what you don't know, heart attacks affect women differently. Different things affect women differently, and so many things they look out for are things that we know are present in men, but not necessarily in women.
Well, it wasn't even required that women or other different kinds of racial minorities were included in medical studies until the year 1993.
That is the year I was born.
I was alive then. I was already alive by that point. In our lifetimes, women have not been included in medical research. In our lifetimes, in this country. It's horrifying.
That's horrifying.
And
genuinely.
It's so much more than it is absolutely a research problem. It is a systematic failure throughout, too, right? Health insurance companies don't give doctors the amount of time that they need to actually listen. And here's another really horrifying thing. Basically, it is not below the standard of care to dismiss women legally. And so what that means is if you or I are having symptoms of a heart attack and we go into the emergency room and the doctor looks at us up and down and says, no, this is just anxiety, go home, and we die of a heart attack, we cannot bring a malpractice lawsuit to court because that is not an unreasonable thing to do.
And not to mention, you mentioned reproductive care, the maternal health crisis that is happening in this country, particularly with Black women's infant mortality being dismissed and being overlooked. And it's it's truly horrifying.
We have not created a system that listens to patients when they don't look like white men. That's just the truth.
100%. And that needs to change yesterday.
At the earliest.
Yes. Yeah, at the earliest.
Yeah.
Whew. Well, on that fun note, I'm going to go into our lightning round, if you don't mind.
Let's do it. I told you I would do the things that would make your blood boil today.
Oh, no. They make my blood. Well, that's the thing about when I say passionate, I mean passionate in the old-fashioned way of like, I can feel it running through me.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's what this episode should be called. Healthcare in this country sucks, but the Barbie movie is great. An interview with Cynthia Plotch. There you go.
I'm not even mad about it. I'm not even mad about it. Catherine, write that down. We'll see if that comes out the best title, but that might be it. But at least we have the Barbie movie. Oh, I love that. So starting the first lightning round question. These are pretty short. You can feel free to answer them quickly or not quickly, whatever you want to do.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah. Controversial right off the bat.
Okay.
Does pineapple belong on pizza?
No.
Betrayal.
Sorry. I grew up in New Jersey, like outside of New York. Like pizza is pizza. Pineapple's amazing, but no.
Yeah, I've figured out in my responses from people on this that I just love pineapple, and I think I just want it on everything. And so it's not necessarily a pizza thing. I just love pineapple.
I'm not mad about it. Like if you want to eat pineapple on pizza, that's fine, but I don't.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I have a friend who she tried it for the first time and she was like, "I love this for you."
Yes.
Yeah,
My bagel order is pretty horrifying to most people. So I'm not out here trying to yuck your yum, but just not for me.
yeah, yeah, totally. If you could time travel, where's the first place you would go?
The future? Are you kidding me? I don't want to be a woman in the past.
You're so correct, but also the bravery to go into the future and
It's also
see.
going to be terrible. No, I don't actually think that. I think I mean, you look at the way Gen Z is showing up for the earth and the planet. Like, yeah, there's a lot of bad stuff, but I do really believe we're going to figure it all out. And that question is so hard. You're not the first person that's asked me that. Like, what generation would you want to live in? Like, I wouldn't want to have been a woman any other time. It was
Oh
worse.
yeah. Oh yeah. That's the thing is I'm like when I ask that when I say the past, I mean like a quick visit. Like
Mhm.
under no circumstances do I want to live in any future generations.
Okay, a quick visit. I don't know, maybe the Renaissance. Like,
Yeah.
go watch Mozart, see someone paint, and then I'll come back.
Yeah, immediately. I'm like at no point do I ever want to just go
Yeah.
chill there for a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah, somewhere like really far, like really, really far back and like go see some like crazy art happening. That's what
Yeah,
I was saying.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. What sport would you compete in if you were in the Olympics?
Hmm.
This does not have to be realistic.
No,
This can be like your
no.
dream.
What sport? The made up sport of soapbox ranting, in which you stand on a really, really tall soapbox and you see who can make the most compelling rant about a subject that they're passionate in.
That is the greatest Olympic sport I've ever heard of. You and I would be dual gold
Yeah,
medalists.
I might get silver. I believe that someone out there could be better than me, but
Yeah.
not that much better.
I would definitely qualify to the team.
Yes, for
Like, let's,
sure.
yeah,
We would be there. We'd have matching jackets. It'd be great.
it would be amazing. I'm obsessed with that. What is the most used app on your phone?
Probably TikTok,
Same.
unfortunately.
Oh, same. Oh, my guilty pleasure. If your house caught on fire, we are assuming all living beings are safe. What is the first object you would run to save?
When oh, he's gonna love that this is my answer. Assuming like the things on my body come with me, I would say when my partner and I got engaged, my parents were staying at my house. And my dad decided he was going to make a scrapbook. My dad is not a scrapbooker. It was his first and only time doing it. And the theme of the scrapbook was not Cynthia and Nate's beautiful relationship over the 12 years we've been dating and he's been a part of our family. Welcome to the future. No, no, no. The theme of the scrapbook is what was I, your father, doing while you were getting engaged? Walking through Philadelphia, eating lunch with your cousins. Like, it's chaos, but I love it so much. And that might be the thing I would say first.
I'm so obsessed with that. I have to tell my best friend, I can tell you right now, that is the funniest thing I've ever seen, I've ever heard. And I'm gonna be like, if she ever gets engaged, I'm doing that to her. I'm like, this is what I was doing.
It's so freaking funny, especially because it's also like it's multimedia. They were staying at our home because we were on vacation. And so it's like, here's a bag of treats I fed your cat. Here's the band-aid from when she scratched me. It's so funny.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I love that
It's
so much.
it's ridiculous. I'll have to send you pictures after.
Please do. Please do, because I'm literally obsessed. Would you rather explore outer space or the bottom of the ocean?
Bottom of the ocean. I'm a Scorpio. I'm a water girl.
Oh, I'm a Pisces.
Love it.
Yep. Same. Same. What is the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
So I played music as a kid. And when I was, I don't remember, taking classes with my teacher, he said to me once, don't underestimate the power of 10 minutes if you have 10 minutes. No, he was talking about practicing. Like, yes, you are busy, you're in school, you have homework, blah, blah, blah. But if you have 10 minutes to sit down and play, that will help. And that idea of like things don't need to be forever to be meaningful, I think is really, really important in my whole life.
Yeah. 100. Yes, I agree. So, one final question for you. What is one thought that you would want to leave with our listeners?
One?
Yeah, I know. There's a million.
Oh my God.
We're going to say this is your soapbox single topic.
Oh shoot. Okay. That you are the expert on yourself and your body. And we live in a country where our medical system gaslights us into not believing that, but it is true. And so at the end of the day, I feel like everything that I do centers around that. Like, I want you to understand your body from a like at home testing perspective, from an education perspective, from a like feeling all your feelings perspective, because ultimately you're the one who's going to know best.
Amen. I don't have anything else to add there.
Love it.
That and go see the Barbie movie, I guess.
Yeah, that too. But I just assume if you've made it this far, you've seen it.
Yes, because we said spoilers for the Barbie movie about 8 times. Well, thank you so much for coming on today. This has been amazing. I cannot wait to get this out to our community. They are going to love this.
I have done a lot of podcasts, and I hope none of them are listening to this because this was so fun and like the right kind of chaotic. I loved it. Thank you for having me.
You are so welcome. Thank you for coming on. Welcome back, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I enjoyed it. It was so good. I loved talking with her. We just hit it off on so many different levels. Let's go ahead and get to our history makers this week. I'm very excited for the first person. As anybody who's a regular listener of this podcast knows, I am possibly her biggest fan in the entire world. Simone Biles became the first woman to be named to 6 World Gymnastics Championships teams. Amazing. I had to do some mental math on that when I found that out because I was like, didn't Alicia Sacramone go to 6? But I did some counting and I was like, no, she went to 5. So yeah, first woman to be named to 6 World Championship teams. Amazing. Whole team's going to be amazing. Not to go off on a little tangent here, but the team is going to be Simone Biles, Sky Blakely, her beam, phenomenal. Shilese Jones, amazing at everything but her bars. Oh my God. Leanne Wong, just amazing at everything and has just been like consistency queen lately. And Jocelyn Roberson, who is kind of an up-and-comer and very exciting to watch, has a lot of like difficulty, like I should say, like, not difficulty. Let me rephrase that for people who don't know gymnastics. Has a lot of like really difficult elements in her gymnastics that are really cool to watch. So that's going to be a kick butt team. And you bet I'm going to be watching. So if you're watching, just know that I'm watching too. Let's get on to our other history makers after that brief rant. Taylor Swift, bet you've probably heard of her, became the first woman to reach 100 million active monthly listeners on Spotify. Chioma Nnadi will become the first Black woman to head British Vogue. Kate Thompson became the first woman CFO of BP. Marla Frederick will become the first woman dean of Harvard Divinity School. And Lali Rodriguez became the first Latina to open a medical spa in Dane County, Wisconsin. Congratulations to all of our history makers, and congratulations obviously go out to those who made the World Gymnastics Championships team. I can't wait to watch. I try every week to make this, not turn into Megan talks about gymnastics for 6 hours. Just know that, that's always in the back of my mind. But just a fabulous team. Let's go. Next week, we are going to be talking to Stephanie Nuesi. She is another one of Maricella's interviews before she left. She works in finance at Google, supporting the company's growth and profitability efforts. But she's also the founder and CEO of Max Up, a platform that helps college students and early career professionals to land their dream jobs and maximize their potentials. With more than 60 million views, she shares her career advice and content creation tips with millions of people on LinkedIn, Instagram, and TikTok. Can't wait for that. See you next week. Ellevate Network drives real results for ambitious women trying to break through the glass ceiling and achieve success in their careers. We offer a platform full of resources and opportunities for growth, all designed to help you unlock your potential. With Ellevate's support, you can take the first step toward achieving your professional goals. With a supportive community and tangible resources at your fingertips, you're only one step away from reaching your fullest potential. Join us today and take advantage of our 30-day free trial to start building the career of your dreams. Thanks so much for listening to the Ellevate podcast. If you like what you hear, you can subscribe, give us 5 stars, and share your review. You can learn all about Ellevate membership and all the great things that Ellevate Network is doing at our website, www.ellevatenetwork.com. That's ELLEVATE network.com. And special thanks to our producer, Catherine Heller. She rocks. Thanks so much, and join us next week.